What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this discussion of RWBY Volume 7, this time Episode 2, A New Approach. As always, I am Connor. To my left, we have Mike.
What's up?
And to his left, we have Zach.
What's up?
So, I guess before we get into the details of the episode, how did you like it?
It was informative.
There was a lot
I
of
liked it.
exposition.
I think it's kind of like one of those, like the first episode was an episode that kind of sets the scene. This episode, all right, shit's about to get real. We're about to figure out what this whole volume's about, which we did. I mean, I don't know, is it metagame? Metagame-wise in this episode, we know what's like probably about to transpire. I think the whole meeting with Ironwood really just gives us where this volume's going to go, what path we're going to explore, what our characters will, well, not necessarily endeavor, but we can assume. And I think it was a great setup episode. I think it was needed.
I can agree with that. Any thoughts you want to say before we get into the meat and potatoes, Mike?
Nah.
All right.
So I'm gonna dig my spoon in there. So
Yeah. All right. So the episode starts off with them. They've been captured by the Aesops. They're being escorted on the prison bus or whatever you want to call it. And last time I didn't call it out in the react or in our discussion last time, but there was a guy at the back of the bus. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna say anything. I doubt he's probably just a background character. I won't bring it up.
In my react, I actually said, I like this guy. I hope he gets some good character development. I was hoping he would be in the room with Ironwood as well, like for some reason the escorts forgot. It wasn't.
The fuck's the Salem?
Nah, he seems like the type
What
of
is
guy
so
who's
cool about this
like-
lamp? Like,
Seems like a regular anarchist to me.
Well, it
yeah,
seems like he's been caught multiple times. Seems
Yeah.
like the guards actually know him.
All right, Jerry, get back in the cage. Yes, sir.
I just really liked as he was talking. He's definitely talking uphill, and we kind of learned a little bit more about Hill's, the backup behind that Hill has that potential that could lead to her, winning. But they're just rolling up the window.
Yeah. It gave an interesting perspective on everything, and he did shed some light, saying that Mantle's not getting the love of Atlas, which does get touched on more towards the end of the episode with Watts. So that's interesting. Well, I guess while we're talking about Watts, we see that he is in fact hacking part of the security system.
So hold on. So when the team goes up to Ironwood's office, I'm like, oh, there she is, the traitor. She's doing it. She's the reason. Like, Weiss hugs her, and I'm like, this is all in my react. Weiss hugs her, and I'm like, no, don't do that. She's a traitor. It comes to the very end of the episode. I'm like, Winter's not the hacker.
Oh, you can openly admit it here now. Yeah.
Oh, I openly admit it in my react. I'm not sure which video gets posted first, react or discussion, but
That's what RT lets through.
yeah, fair enough. In the end, at just the very end of the episode, you just see me. It's not Winter. It is pretty interesting though how he turns off the cameras and the streets and the barriers. And what surprised me though is that no one in the public was like questioning him as he walks by, and all of a sudden all these cars are crashing and stuff. Like, I would look at the I guess that's part of hacking, I guess.
Sometimes the most secretive place you can be is right in the open.
True. Well, kind of. I mean, he is... Well, this is a discussion for later, but he's kind of like the umbrella, of course. He's covering himself to ensure that even if he misses something, it won't be missed, but... Yeah.
Plus, he just looks like a distracted bystander. He's on the phone, he has an umbrella, it's raining. He's not paying attention to his surroundings too much.
I did realize something with, or I have an idea about something. So after we talk about Watts, and he has this whole, or we're introduced to Watts again in the season, and he has this whole little dialogue with Tyrion. We do see Tyrion leaving a room and blood pouring out of it. Do you have any ideas who that might be?
With the mechanical tail, I'm honestly thinking it may have been Pietro.
That's what Mike said to me just a little bit ago.
Yeah,
I was
because
thinking that Pietro might die, rather, to Tyrion, kind of a thing.
Yep, exactly. Tyrion got what he needed and slit. You don't need to know any more. Death, which I think will potentially bring something about with Penny. Maybe she'll go Super Saiyan like clearly Yang does because of the opening. I don't know.
Any thoughts on you, Mike?
It just made, well, yeah, it was the same thing, and it made me question like how long they had actually been there beforehand, or did they just arrive? Because when they arrived, or when the group arrived, that's when I think one of you mentioned, but like they had like some X-rays on up on like some pictures, or on the I guess on the board, like a board. Those could have been his, I guess. A little bit of grounding to that theory.
They could have. They definitely didn't show any signs of it being the tail or Tyrion or anything like that, but could have been a little bit of foreshadow if you really dug deep into the anatomy of Ruby, I guess.
I mean, is that like his tail is connected to, I guess, the rear of his spine? You know, he was showing pictures of like his rib cage and his back.
That's true. That's true.
It would make sense. The tail would have to be connected to your spine in some way. I think it might be a random journalist. Because in the intro, there is a scene where you very briefly see Watts when he's typing and he's looking at a monitor. You can see on the left it says that there is an election map. On the right, it is Mantle Security. And then in the first episode, I stopped and I saw something after watching this one because I was just finalizing the edit. And there is a little pop-up that's up on the monitor saying that a journalist that was missing has been found dead. And so that could be that's one of the things that Watts is trying to do, is killing journalists, that way they can't support Ironwood.
Create more chaos.
Which would make it very Hitler-esque.
So does this also potentially back up your theory of Hill working with Salem then?
I think so, but I'm wondering if she might not be an unknowing assailant. She's not working directly under Salem, but she's being used by Salem.
Kind of like Tony Stark giving the weapons to the enemies, but not actually knowing he's giving the weapons to the enemies because he just sees the money coming in. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that same thing too. I didn't mention it all in my react, but I was like, it could just be like she has a financial backer that's linked to Salem, but it's the main portion of her backing. You need to do this, sweetheart, angel and demon on the shoulder, Well,
I think that really covers Watts and Tyrion. There wasn't too much. It was just
It's a
lot of exposition kind of a thing.
What about that final cut, though, where you see the shadow or whatever that was coming into the city? That was blood?
Yeah, that's what I thought that was.
See, my colorblindness screws me off again. I was thinking it was a shadow or something. See, I didn't realize there was blood, so when you were saying, I just figured that's what he was doing, is he was someone off. I thought it was a shadow. Oops.
So that was the end of the episode. Now let's get into the real meat of the episode. So Ironwood has revealed that he has informed Winter and Penny, as well as possible a few others, as to the truth of Salem. His own inner circle, just like what Ozpin had. Oh yeah, and the Aesops.
I think that was a mistake.
And then he's also revealed his plan to announce to the world that Salem is a reality, to explain everything that's going on with her. How do you feel about all that?
Good in theory, gonna be real poor in execution.
Like, he says that he's prepared to help everyone, but he can't be prepared to help everyone.
He's got a lot of robots, a lot of ships.
Potentially a lot of pennies.
Potentially. I'm curious if we will see more Penny-like people. I'm still curious if the Aesops are like Penny as well.
See, I don't think so. They did not act anything like Penny. Now, they could have been more developed than Penny. Penny 2.0, well, I guess 3.0 now. But nonetheless, I don't think I think the Aesops truly are just, Ironwood's personal, hey, you guys are my, SEAL Team 6 type thing. When there's some shit going down. Although with Aesops, I thought it was quite hilarious when the Faunus was happy, the tail was wagging. I was thinking, I thought that was pretty cool. But no, I think ultimately his plan is good in theory. I think it's just not going to be executed the way he wants, because I agree with Mike. There's no way he can protect everybody. Like, Remnant's a big place.
He's taking it little by little, though, for what that's worth. Back to the Aesops real quick. I was also with the rebel guy who was in the prison bus earlier on. He was also talking about the Aesops, like how they were a special exception and didn't actually represent what regular huntsmen were. So that's kind of pushed my thought a little bit as to the Aesops not being actual people and being like Penny. I'd be very interested if that's true, because that would make a lot more logical sense for why Ironwood has told them the truth.
Would you then allow us to be androids in our D&D?
No.
If that's the case.
The D&D takes place 80 years ago. Penny's brand new, relatively speaking.
But yeah, I think I honestly think he's underestimating like the Grim in general. Like, all right, so yeah, he's got Atlas down under control, and Mantle kinda sorta, and maybe has some recon like on other parts of the world, but like we're still seeing like new kinds of Grim show up everywhere, and I feel like he's really underestimating what could potentially exist.
But they do have the power of a Silver Eyes with them. Now, at least. Which I'm sure he was kind of banking on. I have a feeling that we're going to learn there was something behind the scenes with Ozpin and him even further. About Ozpin saying, this is what, if this happens, I need you to do this. Like, I have a feeling Ozpin's more behind it. During that conversation, though, now this is something I just want a blatant answer, and then we can go further into it. Who is the maiden that they were talking about?
They have revealed that they know who the Winter Maiden is.
I have a theory who it is.
Who do you think?
I think it's Summer.
That thought popped into my head too.
I'm thinking Ruby and Mommy will be saying hello.
I think it might be someone else, honestly, because they said they know who it is, and Kerr responded with, "She ain't." I think he said she ain't a spring chicken anymore, or something like that.
Yep, she's not a spring chicken, as well as that she's stabilized right now.
I gotta actually look at it again, but if that what it was, like implying that she's not young, she's like old. So it might be someone else that's older. Possibly. Actually, I don't really have any like candidates that are like old that could even fit that aside from the Reaper. But I don't think.
See, I was taking the spring chicken as like a play on it, being like, this is the Winter Maiden. She's not a spring chicken, as in like a play on the seasons. I wasn't thinking about age, but that's an interesting one too. I don't know.
There are only 3 people who I think it could possibly be, and that is either Hill, which I think that is incredibly unlikely, Winter, which, given the context of their conversation, also seems incredibly unlikely, and then the only other person who we know that is missing that might still be alive would be Summer. It also makes sense as to why they gave her an animation, like a full-on animated character at the end of Volume 6. That's kind of like meta-knowledge, putting in the corporate pieces together. So I think that might be right. Which leads me to be curious how Ruby will react when she sees that, if it's true.
Well, it makes me wonder, are we ever going to figure out who her true dad is, too? If it's not, well...
You're assuming that it's not Tai Yang.
Yeah. Which, okay. It could still be, but nonetheless, I don't know. I kind of hope we get more of depth into that, and with Ironwood saying, Crow, it's nice to see you again. Like, it really is nice to see you type thing.
I love the hug.
I think there's a lot more backstory that we're going to get in this volume. A lot of more of the history of the adults in the world that we've come to know. But I also loved as well when Ironwood found out that Oscar was the new Ozpin. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you're amazing." He's like, he's gone right now. But I loved it when they were talking about the artifact. How Oscar kept looking over at Ruby like, "Are you gonna say anything? Are you gonna say anything? Are you gonna say anything?" And it never came out, and you could tell Oscar was in a weird, like awkward stance. I feel like.
I am so pissed off at that scene because Ruby lied or hid information rather, didn't tell the full truth. What is everything that her and her team got mad at Ozpin about in the last season? All that stuff?
But why didn't anyone else say anything either, though?
They said that they were going to let her take the lead.
Oh, that's true. They did, didn't they?
Ruby. Yep. She let us down.
So what do you think happens when it comes out?
The truth comes out?
I think by the time the truth comes out, it'll be too late and Ironwood's plan will have failed. Either due to outside forces or whatever happens. But I think that because they hold the truth in, because they do exactly what Ozpin has done, the exact same thing that they've scolded Ozpin for doing, I think that's when they're going to realize, oh, we're just like Ozpin.
But the thing is, do you think it'll be at the point where maybe Ironwood is counting on there being one more wish?
I don't know. They did bring up that wish, so odds are we're going to figure out what that question is.
And he said he talked to Oz, so we actually don't even know how much Oz told him. Oz potentially could have told him about that relic.
Considering that Crow didn't know too many details, I'm guessing Ironwood didn't, but you might be right.
Yeah, it's only because he said, like pretty much as soon as she said that he had it had no more questions left, he was like, yeah, Oz told us something similar. So I was like, I don't know, maybe it's either maybe he does know or he knows something more that they don't know.
It could be.
They discuss something.
Being the headmasters, they might have more information.
Exactly, and that's what I'm thinking, is that Ozpin I think Ozpin probably knew something was going to happen at Beacon. I mean, that's probably pretty apparent. But I have a feeling he planned for that. And I think he probably had one last meeting with everybody or some way of communicating with them saying, if this happens, here's everything.
Or what 2 questions were asked to the relic? Never mind.
Wasn't there 2 questions left? And they used one of them?
They used one of them, yeah.
I thought there was only one question left.
There is one question left.
Currently, there's one question left.
But see, I thought there was one question left, and that's when the Ruby team did it. I thought there was only one, so now there's 0. But I guess I could be wrong there. And if that's the case, then that one question is still in play. But well, that leads to a question then. If Ironwood knew about the 2 questions, and they told him that there was one question left, because he mentioned one question, or it was mentioned about one question. If I was Ironwood, I'd be trying to figure out, well, what happened to that other one.
Yeah, like the way it was framed, like Ruby gave the information first. She basically said, "Hey, this is what this relic does," or this is what Oz told us. This is what this relic does, and there's no more questions left. But like I said, then he pretty much responded was like Oz told him something similar, but we don't know what he told him about this relic.
There were 2 questions left, so currently there is 1.
Well, in that case,
I have no idea what that question could be. Can we trust Ozpin? Fuck, what a waste of a question.
What is the identity of Salem? Salem. Oh.
Who is Slade?
I'm just surprised, like, no one has. Well, I guess probably would be a waste of a question. This would probably have to be careful thought out, but like a way to remove her immortality, because you can't kill her because she's immortal. But is there a way to remove the immortality? Probably not, because I guess the gods gave it to her.
It would probably have to come from the gods, or something about when all the maidens are together. Maybe there's something there that we don't know, type thing. I mean, there's a couple things that could probably do it, but I have a feeling that gods would have to come back into play.
That's what I suspect. which is when all the relics are brought together. That's what's supposed to happen.
Wonder what the staff of creation can do.
I
Probably create.
But what does that mean?
Yeah, this is like in what context?
Do you get to use it 3 times every 100 years as well? But you can only make you can make anything that your heart desires? What would that entail?
Do you think that's how Atlas was made?
It might be.
Yeah, I don't know. That's another theory there. Nonetheless, that's a good question too. Well, that poses a question: what can all of the relics specifically do? Are they all limited to 3?
The Crown of Choice and the Sword of Destruction. I'm guessing the Sword of Destruction will be like an Elder Wand from Harry Potter.
I'm thinking they kind of each counteract each other.
That could be.
The sword versus the staff, the crown versus the, I don't know, lamp or whatever you want to call that thing. It is a lamp. Yeah. But, I think kind of moving past the artifacts, I think the other part of the conversation, of course, with Ironwood is, well, now that you're an Atlas, you get access to our technology. I think we're finally going to see the new equipment.
Yeah, we are definitely going to see weapons get repaired, if nothing else. That's when we're probably going to have the visual changes. I'm guessing the next episode with all of that. Looking at Atlas Academy itself, I'm a little less confident in Atlas Academy Colossus mode. But we'll see.
Why is that?
I was looking at it, and it looks like a spire with towers jutting out of the side. It doesn't look like the kind of thing that would possibly mold into a body. But who knows? There might be a lot more underground.
We'll see. Also, I think the 3 question thing was just because 3 wishes with the genie or the genie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that poses the question: do all the artifacts follow the same rules?
No, I mean, I think the only reason why it was limited to 3 because it was a reference to the genie in the lamp or the djinn in the lamp. The other ones are probably different.
So, is there a spirit inside the others?
There could be.
What would that be? What is famous for having a staff? A wizard is the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
A sword would be a warrior, and then the crown would be a king.
A corporation has a staff.
Get out.
Hey, shout out to our wizard series.
Oh my goodness.
Can we post those?
I mean, they're still up on YouTube. They're just on the old channel.
Yeah, but no one knows about them.
Yeah, it's okay. They don't need to.
So if I give it to Zay, would you be upset?
I wouldn't be upset, but I'd be like, oh, God. Terrible. Just looking at us when we're kids. Disgusting. What about his plan to have the CT tower in the sky? As a satellite.
Shoot it into space.
Which doesn't work once it's beyond the atmosphere, but inside the atmosphere it's good. That is
Verizon
canonically
Wireless
stated.
Of Remnant.
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah, but I feel like when they actually started, I feel like that plan is going to get leaked, to be honest. And then, it's going to be a battle, and they're going to try and shoot it down.
It might get hacked again. A new signal being sent out to the whole world. Just like last time.
See, I have a feeling it's going to be hacked, and it's going to be used for Salem's doing. And I think the world is going to turn on, I would say, Ruby and those associated with Ozpin.
That'd be interesting. Seeing everyone react like Sun over in Vacuo, like, what the fuck? What's going on here? Why did they tell me this? I could have helped. God, look at those children. They're destroying our world. You shut your mouth! They're my friends. I think that really covers everything. There wasn't too much to...
It was more about the discussion. That's what this episode was. It was more about the depth of the discussion, which I think we kind of highlighted on the bigger parts, but we didn't necessarily... There wasn't too much a fighting scene or introduction of a new character out of nowhere. I guess technically the guy in the ship with them, but it was more of, we're going to set the precedence.
Ironwood did give the lamp back to Ruby. So I think that proves that he is being trustworthy. I
think so too. I really do wonder though if Oscar is like still having conversations with Ozpin, but Ozpin has made it clear, do not share any of this with anybody.
It could
And
be.
see, I think that also could have been part of the uncomfortableness as well. That's a theory I have, is that Ozpin's not actually gone. He's using Oscar as like, okay, well, I hate them. I love them, but I hate them. So you're gonna be the person right now.
It's possible. I don't think it's likely, considering the Volume 6, like when you have the flashback of Ozpin coming to his into his head for the crash.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
It could be. Could be something that's happened since.
But that's also why everything's a theory.
Hmm.
So
I'm still wondering if Watts is going to hack Penny in some way.
Don't jinx it, man.
I think it's going to happen.
I think it's well, of course, well, unless he put in a failsafe because of all the hacks going on, though.
And I'm curious as to what defenses have been put in place by Ironwood.
Like, well, that's my question with Penny too. Did Pietro as well, when I guess restructuring her, did he put in a thing of, if it's not under this server or these commands, you shut down?
Could be. Might have an emergency switch. Okay, I'm wondering who Arthur is based on in terms of fairy tale and lore.
King Arthur.
I don't see any parallel between them other than the name. I googled to see if there's any firm,
Fine.
any confirmation.
Arthur Pendragon.
James Moriarty, or not? Sorry. Watson is what people theorize, but it's not confirmed. But whenever he smiles and he's got like the weird way his teeth is, he reminds me of a rabbit.
Velvet's dead.
She does have a very unique weapon. Maybe you'll get Velvet yet. Oh man. All right. Well, figure we'll end things there then. Unless there's anything else you want to say.
No, I think I'm excited for the next episodes, just to kind of see where this volume takes us. But I think I think this volume is going to give us either it's going to be a make or break for Team RWBY. So,
Hey, I just got a random question. Who do you guys think is gonna die? Somebody's gonna die.
oh, I
gonna die?
wholeheartedly believe Ironwood's going to die.
Yeah, everyone's gonna die.
New theory. Winter kills Ironwood.
Wow, interesting. That is an interesting theory.
I think Ironwood is going to die defending the city and giving his life to let either civilians or to let Team RWBY get away.
Yep. No, I'll agree with that. I mean, if Winter does kill him, then I called it here first. But
That'd be crazy.
I do have a feel. You know what? They're gonna tear with your heart, Mike. Penny's gonna die again.
That's the other one I was going to say.
Don't talk about it.
Don't even
I think Penny's going to die.
Nope.
And I think it's going to be for good.
Nope. Penny will live. I want to hear it.
Do you think anyone on Team RWBY dies though by the end of this volume or even Volume 8?
I feel like they can't really kill anyone yet.
Oh, they can.
Killing Runner Nora would be a big one.
Yeah, they could kill.
Killing John would be a big one.
I can't imagine they'd kill John yet.
Well, I guess if we're talking Volume 7, I could see Nora dying.
She would have a bigger impact on Ren.
That'd be seeing a Ren like lose his shit again. That would be interesting.
Yeah, because Nora, we can imagine how she would. But I would like to see if that does happen, how Ren would react. But nope, Penny lives. Don't want to hear it.
Time will tell.
Do you think they kill off Crow?
Crow is a possibility to die too. Him and Ironwood shared that hug. That might be the hug of death right there.
One or both of them dies.
Raising a death flag.
Potentially for the betterment.
I think the Winter Maiden will die. Don't know who it is. Think they're gonna die.
By someone not good.
Probably. Or by Winter.
Or Ruby has to kill her mother.
That could be. I've thought about that. Actually, you know what? Let's add in one final segment here. Let's have a callback to RWBY Revisited, that series that may one day not be dead. So, who's the best boy and best girl
Of this episode?
of this episode?
Well, best boy is the guy in the beginning on the ship with them. Duh.
Okay.
I mean, Ironwood and Penny.
Such a casual.
Don't care if Winter's
God.
here or not.
I'm
She
going
would have been
Ironwood
if
and Penny
Penny
as
wasn't here.
Why
Which
Penny?
was a-
She didn't do anything this episode.
Doesn't
She's
matter.
just pure. And compared to all the other, I mean, all of the girls in Team RWBY, they pissed me off by not telling the truth. So fuck them this episode. Winter, I mean, it's like, she's Winter. She just doesn't compare to Penny. She did as much as Penny did in this episode. And the only other candidate was the littler woman in the Aesops. And I just don't know her well enough. She seems like a bit of a punk, so
That one's best girl.
I'm going for Penny.
I'm going punk girl and guy in the beginning.
Let me see what her name was.
I mean, she'll probably be in the credits, but it hasn't been said yet, so.
I thought they mentioned her name once. One of the other
I don't
characters.
remember.
I don't think they mentioned any of their names yet.
We know that the leader's name is Clover Ebby, apparently.
Yeah, I see that Reddit post.
Yeah.
I think it's Hair. Hang on.
Harriet is her name.
Okay.
Clearly named after Harriet Tubman.
Yep.
You'll have to forgive me if I don't. Nah, but yeah, I guess that was a nickname then.
We know everyone except for Peace and Tranquility looking man. So their names are Clover for the leader, Elm for the person who I think is transgender, Harriet for that little woman, and then Marrow for the Faunus. The Aesops. Maybe their names spell something.
So Clover, so the 4-leaf clover is their logo, and then there's like an eye on the top. What were their names? You said Marrow, Wolf,
Marrow,
Harriet.
Elm, Harriet, and Clover.
Alright,
Those are the ones we know.
I'll piece that together later.
The fun guy's name might be listed in the credits at the very end. I didn't look in this.
Well, it probably would have because
Forum
he
post
spoke.
won't be updated. Wait. I'm guessing his name is Vine Zeki. So there's Clover Ebby, Elm Edern, Marrow Amon, Harriet Bree, and Vine Zeki. I have no idea what the fuck that team name spells.
No idea.
Chevum.
Let's see. So Clover, Elm, Marrow.
Harriet and Vine.
Kemv.
Yeah, I'm only seeing like Chemv. Vempch.
MECH. Mech.
MECH-V. Like MECH-5 Vault fucking. Holy shit! Oh!
I was like spelling it out for you. I'm like MECH-V. Robotic. I was like, I wonder how long it's gonna take Connor to see this one.
Well, I guess we'll piece it together now. Just gonna piece it, alright?
Alright, that is it. That is my official theory. They are all robots like Penny.
This has some real grounding now.
The MECH-V.
Oh man.
We found out first here.
Or a 5 mech. Could be either way. I'm not going to be that picky into the details. Could be the X-rays are theirs. Could be, who knows, the exteriors might mean nothing. Also, fun fact, Pietro is Geppetto. Didn't put that together initially, like an idiot. I even said in the React, I said shout out to the whale. Right over my head.
But I would say we called that here. I don't know first, but
Called it here
I would
first.
say I can't imagine too many people are putting that together.
Maybe I'll take advantage of that. Make a fucking RWBY theory. The MECH-V. Here comes Speed Racer.
Do you think that they all could like form into one?
I was just gonna say that. Maybe
Oh,
that's Atlas
goodness.
Academy Colossus mode.
Wait, if he's Geppetto, and
That makes Penny Pinocchio.
So what's her nose then? And what's her lie?
That she's a real girl.
Let's hold that joke. Yeah, that's that she's a real girl. She might, you don't have to follow every little detail about him. It's just the fact that she's a girl who wants to be real.
Alright, I'll stop there.
Goddamn.
So apparently we discovered a theory in my delay. So,
Oh, it's great. Oh, it's great. I'm so happy now. That is the fucking bombshell to end this on. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Be sure to let us know whether you did or didn't by using those like buttons, the comments, or subscribing. And make sure you also spread it around to all of your friends, too. I'd also like to thank our patrons. With support like yours, we're able to slowly improve on our content, so thank you so much for supporting us. If you're not already a patron and you'd like to support us directly, be sure to check out our Patreon in the description below. We have rewards like stickers, shirts, behind-the-scenes content, and even the ability to make a major character to join in one of our D&D campaigns. Well, once again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.